Greetings, Cap fans, and welcome to episode 242 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. I'm Rick Verbanis, and I'm your host. I've got a co-host. He's the best gosh darn one out there, and his name is Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob. Red-haired women are bad luck.
A, don't know. B,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what my mom said.
No?
No.
What'd she say about redheaded women?
My mom swore whenever she went to a casino that if she sat next to a red haired woman who was smoking,
Mm-hmm.
she would do well on the slots.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
Yeah.
All
What's
right.
that? What's that line from?
Well, that is from a 1974 movie starring Clint Eastwood and Jeff
Oh,
Bridges. Do you know what?
I don't. Jeff Bridges. Yeah, I
Clint
don't.
Eastwood was 44, Jeff Bridges was 25.
Mm.
It was an action comedy and it was called
Don't tell me I had a monkey.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Okay, yeah, I do. That does vaguely ring a bell.
Vaguely rings
Yeah,
a bell, right?
vaguely rings a bell. Yeah.
1974. I knew I saw the movie in the 70s. I don't think I've ever seen it since. So it's the movie's been it came out 50 some years ago. Um,
Oh, I had heard.
yeah. Yeah, but why am I greeting you with that today, Bob?
Well, we are going to be reading Thunderbolts Doomstrike #1 this evening.
We are.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did I pick that quote?
Thunderbolts?
No, the about
Redhead
the
lady?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Natasha.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a redheaded lady today. What do you think?
I think we might. I think it's likely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to do this comic because next episode, Bob. Next episode we have the writers coming onto the show. We have Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly. You remember those guys, don't you?
I do. I've seen them a couple times, I think. They vaguely ring a bell.
I will tell you right
The
now.
hive
I have it
mind.
written down here. This will be the fourth time they're coming on to the show. This duo of writers, aka Hive Mind. And if you want to check out previous episodes before coming back next week, or just get yourself familiarized, the back in 2022, we had them come on episode 91, and that was when they were kicking off the Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty series.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to hear more about their backgrounds, how they got into it, some more, learning about the, how they write together. Then uh, maybe 8 months later, we had them back on the show in 2023 for episode 121, and that was they were well into the Sentinel of Liberty series, and we did a Cold War preview and got a little bit more insight and asked some questions about the storylines and characters. And then last year, in January of 24, we kicked off the year with episode 169, and that was when we talked with them about the end of the Sentinel of Liberty series, plus the Thunderbolts miniseries that they were doing.
Right.
And this is basically, I think it's a sequel to that Thunderbolts miniseries.
It does pick up a little bit after that one left off. I think there's some other stuff going on though, right?
Oh, there is, there
Yeah.
is, and we'll get to that in a little bit
Yeah.
when we start talking about the story. But anyway, I'm excited to have Jackson and Colin back on the show next episode. So we have plenty of questions that are coming in from our patrons, and can't wait to get into those next episode.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. They're always fun. I mean, they're a hoot, but they also give some really great insights into their writing and the whole process, and sometimes some gems so that we know what's coming down the pipe.
Exactly. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because while we're covering number one of Thunderbolt's Doomstrike, number four just came out like a week ago. Like if you're listening to this when it comes out, which is May 28th, I think 2 weeks ago actually, issue four came out, and Jackson and Colin were like, you may want to wait to have us come on until after 4 comes out because there'll be a little bit of Steve Rogers stuff to get into. And I haven't picked up number 4 yet, but I'm going to
Mm,
have to do it before next week because I can't wait to see what they
yeah,
did with Steve Rogers.
right. Yeah, that's almost too tantalizing and tempting not to.
Yeah. How you doing this
Hmm.
week, Bob?
I'm doing all right, Rick. I'm doing all right. I'm in that interim now where I'm grading papers and I don't have actual classes, so I like that. So finally got my shower door installed. I know that's been a saga for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I'm
So
sure
we're
your neighbors are really
yeah,
grateful.
yeah, they are. But I do. My wife said, "Oh, I know you don't like the door," and I'm like, "Why don't I like the door, honey?" She's like, "Because you can't walk by the shower now, reach in and grab me." I said, "Guilty as charged."
Yeah, that's right. Oh, honey, I would be derelict in my
That's
husband
right.
duties if I
Exactly.
didn't do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about
Yeah.
you? What's going on with you?
I'm trying to get my second win, Bob. I'm just beat. Work is keeping me busy. I've been super busy with the podcast and with the Facebook group. We just finished. Believe it or not, we just finished Cap Madness, and we finished the draft and all that stuff. So, trying to catch my breath,
Yeah.
but it's not going to happen because tomorrow morning I got to catch an early train, 6:20 a.m.
Ooh, you know what that reminds me of, Rick?
What's that?
My co host takes the morning train. He works from 9 till 5 and then he takes another home again to find me waiting for him. Do, 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 do. Yeah, baby.
Oh man, little Shinny Easton.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Uh,
Sheena Easton. Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, yeah. I like to watch her strut.
Those sugar walls.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, who didn't? Who a guy our age didn't have a crush on Sheena
Oh
Easton?
my gosh, I spent a lot of practice kissing on those album covers. I'm not ashamed to say, Rick.
No, did you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah,
know, now we've talked about James Bond before. I know you're a
yeah,
James Bond fan,
absolutely.
and your favorite James Bond actor is
Oh, I really love George Lazenby. I got to tell you,
the
I
one
did.
and done.
The one and done, on His Majesty's Secret Service. It was just a real tear jerker of a movie, and Telly Savalas is
I didn't
Ernst.
ask about the movie. I said, who was your favorite
All right. Well,
actor? Come
George
on.
Lazenby. Yeah, well, it's the whole ensemble that makes
Hmm.
that movie so special. So,
I grew up with Roger Moore. Roger Moore
yeah,
was my
Saint.
James Bond,
Yeah,
and so you always have a little softness for the one who was the
yeah,
James Bond when you were growing up,
yeah,
and I always liked Roger Moore, and
yeah,
I think because he was my introduction to James Bond,
yeah. Of course. Yeah,
and so I saw James Bond as having a little bit of a he was suave, he was debonair,
yeah.
he had a little
Little
sense of
sense of humor,
humor,
a little
you know,
campy. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
So I like that, but
yeah,
no, he would definitely I wouldn't say he was the best James Bond, but he
mm,
was the right James Bond for that time. But
yeah.
I only say that because Sheena Easton did For Your
Uh,
Eyes Only.
yeah. That right. That was right in that window of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was.
gosh, that was 1981.
Yeah.
And do you remember that movie For Your Eyes Only?
Oh, sure do, sure do. Who was
Uh,
the black-haired Greek lady who was the femme fatale in that? What was her name? Never
yeah.
saw her. She was very famous in Europe. Very famous in
Yeah.
Europe, and she played the Bond girl in that movie.
Yeah, wasn't that the one where they got tied to a rope in the back of and they went underwater being dragged?
Yeah, right, right.
Right.
Because she was like a diver. Yeah, and it had Teve. Yeah, Teve, right? Topol. Who the guy who was who was in Fiddler on the Roof, famous for that. He played Bond's like smuggler friend.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the one where they had the crossbow and shot and climbed up the side of the tower, right? The castle.
yeah, great movie.
Yeah,
Just good stuff. Good stuff.
yeah. And I think that was the one. Was that the one where um the Roger Moore as James Bond, he kicks the car off the cliff because it was the guy
Hmm.
who killed his friend, and it was just like he just killed someone in cold blood,
I
like
don't remember that. Was that Felix Leiter? Oh no, he killed his smuggler friend.
yeah,
Right. Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry. I just gave it away. I
Oh,
apologize for
spoiler
anybody who
alert.
hasn't seen the 45-year-old movie.
See,
Uh,
that's why I was very careful not to say that Bond's wife was killed in on her on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
you know, and that was the only movie to do that until
Well, that's right. The Daniel Craig,
uh-huh.
Eva Green. Oh,
Mm.
that was just heartbreaking.
Oh, I had the hot streak green for a while too.
She's a good looking lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh now I'm just feeling old.
I used to have a
You know who's feeling old, Bob?
what was the name of it? What?
You know who's feeling old? Today's birthday. If you're listening on the day it comes out,
Uh-huh.
May 28th, that would be Scott Koblish.
Scott Koblish.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty.
Everybody should know who Scott is,
Yeah.
right?
Happy birthday, Scott.
Yes. We had Scott on the show. It was episode 139. Now, if you don't recall, if you didn't listen to that interview, shame on you. Go listen to it. It was a fun interview. He was the longtime inker, and he also penciled as well. But he inked the. I told you, man. I'm trying to get my second win. I am. I am Ron Garney. He inked
Uh-huh.
Ron Garney
Mm-hmm.
for a little while there, and he also penciled the Captain America Taco Bell
He
comic.
did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Scott.
Yeah. That was a fun little story. I'm trying to remember. I had a subscription to like the James Bond fanzine, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot remember the name of the fanzine. It was so inappropriate. But I remember I used to get it like every quarter, and it'd come in the mail, and my mom was like, "What the heck is that?"
That's double O me.
I know it was very inappropriate, and now it's going to keep me up tonight. I'm going to have to hunt that information down.
Oh boy. All right, Bob. Should we get to today's story?
Probably a good idea.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
All right, babe. You know, I think a little background. Leading into this story was a really big crossover in the Marvel universe, where Doctor Doom, who's become the new Sorcerer Supreme, has decided to take over the world, and he doesn't. Have you read any of this stuff, Bob?
I really haven't. I read the Thunderbolts series, the
Mm-hmm.
most recent volume, volume 5, and but no, I haven't. I know there's a bunch of tie-ins and a bigger context here, but no, I have not.
Yeah, it kicked off in February of this year with a story called "One World Under Doom," and so it was a one shot where he basically takes over the world. He trying to think of the. I'll read the description of One World Under Doom because I think it sets the stage for this story. Okay. Uh, 6 months ago, Dr. Victor Von Doom becomes Sorcerer Supreme, then disappeared behind Latveria's closed borders. For most, there's enough going on in the world that Doom's absence is not a priority, and some time without him feels like a blessing. Only a few recognize it for what it truly was, the calm before the storm. It is a storm that has now arrived. The world has woken up to a new reality. Doctor Doom, Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, has magically taken over every broadcast medium on the planet and declared himself Emperor of the world, the ruler of a new united Latveria. And shockingly, impossibly, all of Earth's leaders seem to be going along with this. Luckily, whether it's mind control or Doombots, whatever's affecting them hasn't affected Earth's heroes. And so they quickly form a strike team to stop Doom's machinations. But will they succeed? And what happens when some begin to welcome their new emperor with open arms, clamoring for one world under Doom? Marvel's biggest and most shocking event ever begins right here.
Okay. Okay. Well, keep an open mind with this one.
So that takes us to this miniseries, right? Because there's a whole litany of crossovers, right?
Mhm.
There's appearances in various books, an ongoing series, but then you have some special like one shots like Doom Academy and Doctor Strange of Asgard, and then it continues with One World Under Doom, Doom's Division, um, and so there's all these kind of spin-offs, but they're also it's taking place in the various series. So the same month that this kicks off is where this issue, Thunderbolts Doomstrike #1, comes out. It had a cover date of April 2025, but it was release date was February 19th. And you would like me to read the solicitation, Bob?
I sure would.
Revolution or rebellion like lightning. Doom took over the world, and Bucky Barnes helped him do it. To atone for his unwitting role in Doom's triumph, Bucky assembles a team with one goal: burn it all down. But when Bucky's saboteurs, including Black Widow and Songbird, launch a no-holds-barred campaign to tear Doom's empire apart, Doom decides to prove that revolution ends in blood.
Wow. That's a lot to bite off.
And we're going to do that today. And this is, we talked about the writers, Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing. The penciler, I'm not familiar with his work, Tommaso Bianchi, but I did enjoy it. I will say I did enjoy his artwork.
It has a certain feel to it. Would you agree?
It does. It has a little bit of a sketchiness to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he's the penciler and inker, which is interesting. The colorist is Yen Nitro. Letterer is VC's Joe Sabino, and editor Alana Smith. Would you like to take the listeners through the cover, Bob?
Well, yeah, it is. It is a tussle. It's a tussle on the cover, Rick. So it looks to me like we're in a wintry background, maybe someplace in some mountains. I don't know. It's all white, right? And it looks like it might be a mountainside. And we see Doom and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, the Revolution, going at it. And Doom's got his left hand, his gauntlet, because he's covered with that armor, and he's got it wrapped right around Bucky's throat. And in his other hand is coming down with a sweeping gesture, like he's going to smack him across the face. But Bucky's got a big old dagger in his right arm, and he's also got his mechanical arm with his mechanical hand grasping the front of Doom's cloak. And so they're going at it, and it looks like a fight to the death. But we also got Natasha, the Black Widow, with double daggers coming down behind Doom, looking like she's ready to strike Doom. And then at the bottom of the scene, we've got a character known as Songbird, and she seems to be falling backwards away from the struggle. But we see another character off on the left with a dagger, presumably in her right hand, and a cutlass in her left hand. And she looks like she's coming for one of them, but it looks like it might be Bucky. And this character looks an awful lot like an older character known as Citizen V.
Which Thunderbolt readers are
Right.
not unfamiliar with.
Not
Same thing with
unfamiliar.
Songbird. And I got to tell you, you say her, but that wasn't something that was so obvious to me.
Oh, it was where I was looking. The first place I look, Rick. Unfamiliar character, I go right for the chest.
Ah, thank God for that shower door.
Yeah, but we
Uh,
know that there. I mean, there have been a couple female citizen V's among the many citizen V's that there have been. So
okay.
yeah,
All right. Sounds good. Um, yeah, and it has a little trade dress at the very, very top. One world under doom. So that's kind of Marvel's way of saying, hey, if you're interested in this one world under doom story, here is a tie-in.
and that's a big number one
Yeah, it
on
is.
this cover. So
Mm-hmm.
they want you to know this is a number one.
All right, so we get to the opening page, and it's not a splash page. It actually has 5 panels to it, 5 horizontal panels. And we see a lot of action going on. It's basically kind of a retelling of the past. And we see um, on this first panel, we see Bucky with many of his Thunderbolt characters, right? So you have the Red Guardian and U.S. Agent, and you have White Widow and Shang-Chi, but you also have Widow. It's just Widow because that's the symbiote version, and then you have Sharon Carter as the Destroyer, and then we get into some other panels, but that's what we start off with, and we hear someone talking. Do you know this tale of Sergei Nechayev? You should, for in many ways you are the same man. He too did not know his mother. He too refused to follow his father into a life of obscurity. He too loved a Russian assassin with delusions of heroism. And he too became shaped by the history of his century into an ascetic weapon of extraordinary discipline. Like you and I, he saw the inequities of the world as a moral cataclysm, an infection of those who feign righteousness but practice cowardice. And like us both, despite attempts to create solidarity with others, he stood alone. He died with nothing, imprisoned by the very power he spent his life opposing, rejected by those with lesser vision who, like us, who stood beside him on the battlements. His only lasting mark on the world was a book of those visions, the sum total of a noble life. Do you know what Sergei Nietzsche called the revolutionary in those pages, James Buchanan Barnes? And we turn the page, and it's a gigantic splash. So we know who it is this whole time. And who was it, Bob?
Oh my gosh, it's Victor Von Doom.
With, and he's floating because he has the Sorcerer Supreme's cloak of levitation.
He does.
And as he's standing there with a Latveria flag floating behind him and all of his soldiers standing around him, he's looking down on James with his arms folded in front of him. And he says, a doomed man. And then we cut to the credits page. And you want to read this one, Bob?
Sure, yeah. Not long ago, Bucky Barnes assembled an elite team of Thunderbolts to take down one of the world's most vicious dictators for good, and they succeeded. But now that Dr. Doom has declared that all nations are provinces of a new united Latveria, and the world is rapidly falling in line, the Thunderbolts face the grim possibility that their crusade did more harm than good.
And the title to this one, Bob, is?
A Doomed Man.
So we cut back to where we left off. And Bucky says to Doom, who towers over him physically, I can't tell if you're trying to scare me or impress me, Vic. I love that he calls him Vic.
I know, right?
Right? Such a sign of disrespect. Doom requires neither. My victory is already complete. Bleep that. You don't fly the Latverian flag over the only real home I've ever had just for kicks. Fort Lehigh's sacred ground, and you're making a show of defiling it. No, James. Doom is trying to thank you. Your campaign against the Red Skull was an inspiration. When did that happen, Bob?
Well, that was in that what was it? 5 issues, 4 issues, Thunderbolts miniseries that came out. I think at the end of 2023, January 2024. I think cover date. And at the end of that, yeah, they iced the Red Skull. What?
Uh, there's a simple little note that Alana gave
Oh,
at the
I'm
bottom.
sorry. You just wanted me to read the
In
note.
Thunderbolts
Oh yeah.
2024, 1 through 4.
All right. It was such a good. It was a good
It
story.
was a good
I
story. We
hate to
already told
short.
people about the story.
I
We
know. I hate
told
to
people to check it.
shortchange it.
Yeah,
You get to see Red Skull killed twice
that's true.
for the price of one.
A reminder that history need not constrain our future ambitions. You thought to teach the world that no great evil is beyond the capacity of heroic forces to control. Surely, most men would have kept the final death of the Red Skull for themselves. But instead, man of shadows that you are, you came to Latveria and provoked Doom into taking the final shot. A reminder of my raw talent for obliteration, which I would then use on his would-be successor, Zemo, cementing my role as this world's master. And he puts his fist up into the air. You're saying your rule is my fault. Doom's victory belongs only to Doom. Like Sergei Nechayev, before you, you have aligned yourself so long with the tragic ideals of the reactionary that you cannot yet see the actual ground on which you stand. You have won. The levers of power and exploitation that once dominated your world are in ashes, and in their place, the man you yourself trusted to land the final blow in your war. So now, Doom offers you a place in his world. Divest yourself of the fantasy of the doomed man and fight for the world you made, Bucky Barnes. Lead my secret police, the Fulgor Victorious. Take a place at the right hand of Doom. Kill with impunity. Punish the disloyal. And strike at the heart of all those who return us to the shackles of normalcy, like lightning. And Bucky just takes a moment in silence. And he goes from his civilian clothes to his, it looks to me like his Winter Soldier outfit, right? Because he's got the black mask up
Right?
over,
Yeah.
he's got the domino mask, the long hair. And he basically has a little intercom. Hear that, Val? Guy's putting together a secret police, and we have it on tape. Now get me the bleep out of here. And then Doom, from his gauntlet, fires at Bucky, but it goes through him. Damn you, Bonds. I'm disappointed, but not surprised. And then we cut to who, Bob?
It is the Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
And is she male or female, Bob?
She is most definitely female.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You figured that out by yourself, too? How would you describe what she's wearing, Bob?
Well, I can only see her from the
Say it.
breasts up, but she is in a skin tight. Looks to be leather, could be synthetic. I don't know. Who am I to judge? Patent leather, whatever, with a very high collar, with a plunging neckline, and she's got that white shock of hair. That she's trademarked for, but her hand is kind of funky, right? Because remember, she is an LMD, and so her right hand is like all mechanical and has different attachments to it, like almost like octopus tentacles.
Oh, she has a hand. I didn't notice. And she's in front of a bunch of screens. Confirmed revolution. This is Thunderbolts Mountain. OXE suborbital package. Waste 4 deployed. But next time, maybe don't break OPSEC in front of the targets of our very carefully planned entrapment scheme. What can I say, Contessa? I like seeing it on their face when they realize they're screwed. Preparing for transport. Hold your fire, soldiers of America. Doom will handle this personally. And Bucky zaps out, and he zaps to Thunderbolts Mountain in Colorado, but not in the base. Transport complete, but coordinates are still dropping half a mile off from the mountain. I'll handle this on foot, but can we get OXE to take a look before the next stop? Everyone's a critic. Maybe just be thankful I'm deploying my own vast underground shadow network to get the job done and leave me to the more important. Oh, come on. What the hell? What is it, Valentina? I'm getting temperature readings, spiking throughout the complex, and the pressure warning system's going haywire. Third electrical storm this week. That's not an electrical storm. What are you talking? Contessa, get my cat and get out of there now. Wait, Bucky, what are you? And we turn the page, and there's a gigantic explosion, Bob.
Ooh.
You know, it is Doom. My mind read it as boom.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I didn't really notice that. But the whole base, the whole mountain is blown up. And we see the LMD fizzing out. And it's just ahead. And we hear revolution. Listen well. And we turn the page, and there's Doom. But I think he's just like a hologram.
Right. Yeah, it looks that way.
Your thunderbolts are finished. Your mountain is ash. Doom will not hesitate to do the same to the rest of your pathetic team if you are foolish enough to call for their aid. Only your services previously rendered stay your execution. You have 1 week to decide. Bow, or watch everything you've ever loved burn. Repent now, James Buchanan Barnes. Only Doom can save you. And he leaves. And then Shelbyville, Indiana, 6 days later. Shelbyville. Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know why it would sound familiar, Rick, but if you look it up on Wikipedia, do you know what it lists as one of its claim to fames?
What's that, Bob?
It's Bucky Barnes' hometown.
I see.
Yeah.
So when I hear Shelbyville,
Uh-huh.
I think of the opposing town to the Simpsons.
Really?
Right?
Is that Shelbyville?
I think so.
Oh, I don't know.
When they're fighting with the other town, isn't it
Yeah.
Shelbyville?
I don't know. Gosh, it's been a long time, but I thought it was great that Wikipedia, somebody had added that to Wikipedia, that it was Bucky Barnes' hometown.
That's cute. So we are looking at a nighttime scene. It's raining, and Bucky, in his civilian identity, is sitting on the park bench late at night, and he just got his hat there, but he's getting rained on. And walking up, that's bad luck, Bob. Who is it?
It looks to be a woman with an umbrella with red hair.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she comes up, walking up to him, and says, "The sun's quite hot today. Not as hot as the company." And I say those things in quotes. Basically, it's, I guess, the password,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Hi, Nat. Alpine missed you. Who's Alpine?
Alpine's Bucky's cat. That little
Yeah.
beautiful little white cat.
Yeah, and looks like they got a bandage on.
He looks like Nick Fury.
A little bit. James, is it true you spat in the face of Victor Von Doom? Better than giving him the greatest propaganda win of his little mind control empire. That was stupid. We don't know the first thing about his plan yet. He's pushing us all into the moves of foolish abandon. Oh, James, I know you want us to be simple. And she holds the umbrella over the two of them, and then she moves in and they kiss. But it's not. Doom's made certain of that. And Alpine transfers out of hiding in and staying dry in Bucky's jacket to going into Natasha's lap. The Avengers are frozen. Tony's acting even shadier than usual. There are wolves at every door, and Doom's goading you. Don't let him trap you in the cycle of violence. Create a plan. Call together the team. I have, Nat. Red Guardian's looking after his own. White Widow's gone solo. Destroyer's AWOL. Walker's gone no contact. Shang-Chi's boxed in by politics. And Val's a manufacturing barely conscious life model decoy head in a duffel bag. And just then we see Alpine going up to the duffel bag that has OXE on it. It's us, the Black Widow and the Revolution. We're the Thunderbolts. But you're right about playing his game. We don't have the numbers for insurgency, only sabotage. And fortunately for us, this isn't my first Reich. I was in France in 45. When it comes to breaking the engines of fascism, I learned from the best. Always with France in 45. What can I say? Les Chants des Partisans is one hell of a tune, and they got the job done. You think we have a good shot? I think we have better, after all. Doom just gave us one hell of a target. See, the first thing you look for in a dirty fight is where the other guy's telling you he doesn't want to get hit. He won't say it. He doesn't think he'll show it. But he already has. It's in how he plays defense, where he favors, where he takes extra effort. 12,000 nuclear warheads. That's the world's entire arsenal. Last week, Victor announced he was taking them all and putting them in suborbital satellite and lockbox. Most of his little treasures he keeps in Latveria, but the nukes he put behind a barrier no one can get past without clearance to a launch pad. Fortunately, Doom's entire Air Force uses the same clearance codes. We're going to plug in what's left of Val. She's going to disarm the entire arsenal, and we're going to hit him where he doesn't want to get hit. Great plan with one glaring problem, James. How are you taking a jet into space? Just means I need someone with super strength, flight, a real disregard for authority, and a loyalty to the Thunderbolts. And it turns out I know just the bird. Now, during all this, Bob, he is talking over the actions that he's taking, right? So he goes to an Air Force base. He jumps on the back of a jet that's going up into the sky. He rips off the cockpit, and
Canopy. Yeah.
and the guy, parachutes out, and then he takes it and goes into space, where he connects with just the right bird, who is
Songbird.
Yeah. Now, Songbird, we saw on the cover, and Thunderbolt fans know Songbird. But do you know anything about her?
Well, I don't know a lot. I know she's got a talent a little bit like Green Lantern, right? She can use her vocalizations to make constructs, I think, like physical constructs. A lot
Yep.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and she used to be known as the Screaming Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when she was a villain, which I think she first appeared in also in 1974, Bob.
Wow. She's looking great.
But you see how it comes full circle, Bob, 1974,
Yeah. Very nice.
with the movie I
It's
quoted
magic.
earlier,
You're magic.
right? Yeah. And maybe she has red hair. Just saying. All right. So there she is in space, and she's got a a hold of the jet, and she kind of puts a casing around it, um, kind of like a Green Lantern. I got to be honest, Bucky. I'm really glad you rang. I saw that Keijo fight of yours in the news, and you know what? You know what, man? And when did that happen, Bob?
Well, that Rick was in Thunderbolts #3.
Is that it? You know, yeah.
That was a great fight. Who doesn't like a good kaiju fight?
God bless you.
Yeah.
I was starting to feel left out of your crazy. It's your team, Songbird. I just borrowed it for a while. Drop the sonic atmosphere field, then fly on my 6 until we're in. On go. Ready? And he puts on a space helmet. Go. Damn. Look at that place. I've never seen anything so. How is anyone supposed to fight someone like him? And what are they looking at, Bob?
Well, it's a huge suborbital platform. It looks like a big floating space station, and by big I mean huge, right? Huge.
That's no moon.
There you go.
And Buck answers her question with a very, very carefully. And they get in. So, we trust your little doodad to find the way? This is an unmanned station with a closed network. Consider the Geiger counter our bloodhound. And the Geiger counter is making a noise, Bob. Well, bark, bark. Do the honors? Finally, a little breaking in our breaking and entering. Kia! And she snaps open the door to get into the control panel. Seriously, that didn't activate even some kind of security? At least a Doombot? Consider we're surrounded by every nuclear missile ever made by man. Then consider how often those Doombots explode. Okay, fair. Doom might be a tyrant, but he's not an idiot. Boom. Control console, just what we need. Still got something going on that head of yours, Val? And he breaks open the duffel bag and takes out the LMD head. And she starts plugging into the consoles with these wires coming out of her neck. I've never been more excited to ruin someone's... Hello, Bonds. Victor. Doom is neither fool nor tyrant. He was power. You had a simple choice to make. You have chosen the unfortunate, but predictable third option. So now I must do the same. Oh my God, you weren't keeping the rockets safe. You were pointing them down. Only the fool destroys a weapon he can use, and Doom is no fool. Now watch, Bonds, as I end your revolution. Bucky, no! No option left. This is what it has to be. And what does he do, Bob?
He grabs hold of a launching nuclear missile that is being shot off down toward Earth.
The way you said that reminded me of like Star Trek 4. Do you remember Star Trek 4 where they go to our Earth, our time period?
Oh yes, the whales.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was my favorite.
That's a good one.
And
Yeah.
and I just remember Chekhov. His job was to go to find the nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And he just kept walking around the city going, "Can you tell me where to find the nuclear vessels?" And like, this is the middle of Cold War.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
And here's
yeah.
this Russian walking around asking where you can find the nuclear missile. Natasha? I read you. What is your status? I need to disarm a falling nuclear weapon. James, no. There's no time. You have to get out of there. I know. I'm sorry, Nat. Now, talk me through this like it's the last thing I'll ever do. And she looks a little sad. Okay, you have to remove the arming device in any way possible. And we have a flashback to what, Bob?
Oh my gosh, it's a flashback to him riding the drone that he and Steve Rogers were trying to stop in April 1945.
It might be booby trapped. You're right, Cap. I can see the fuse. Nat, if this impacts, don't talk like that. Just tell me it's going to hit the ocean or a desert. James, I'm so sorry. It's going to drop on Indiana. It's going to hit Shelbyville. And then we flash back to when Bucky was little. But what if they don't like me? You're a Bond, son. They're going to love you. And they're at the Shelbyville Elementary School. Songbird, get him out of there. I can't make it. Bucky, drop off. I have access to the device. I can make it. You're out of time. Your vitals are spiking. Your surface temperature is hitting 180 degrees. James, you can't stop this. Please, let go. And he does. And the next page, which is a double page splash, is horrific. It is a nuclear explosion in downtown Shelbyville. And from the explosion, which is big fiery orange and yellow and red, and a big nuclear cloud, we see buildings being destroyed and trucks and buses flying in the air and bodies dissolving where we only see their skeletons. It is quite gruesome, Bob.
Yeah, I mean it is breathtaking, right? Yeah, and above it, I think we see Songbird, in an arc above it as well, where they just missed the explosion themselves.
Next page, we cut to the news broadcasts. And we see different news reporters. And the first one, just says ahem and is speechless. The next is a couple, a woman and a man. And the woman says, America and the world grieve together tonight as the death toll of the Shelbyville event reaches 20,000. An official release directly from the office of Emperor Doom, we've received shocking footage of the terrorist responsible for the attack. Our analysts have confirmed the following recording as genuine. This is the voice of James Bucky Barnes. Doom just gave us one hell of a target. Bob,
Oh my
wait a minute.
gosh.
That means when Bucky was in the middle of the plan back on Earth and he was explaining it to Natasha, Doom was watching the entire time and
Of course,
recording.
he's Doctor Doom, mystical as whatever he is. He's master of the mystic arts guy. Of course, he's
Wow.
being monitored.
That's
It's an
and
oversight.
that quote was a little out of context.
Yeah, sure was.
The one-time hero and partner of Captain America, Bucky Barnes, currently known by his alias The Revolution, is at large and considered highly dangerous. If you have any information that could lead to his arrest or capture, immediately call our tip line at... And then we cut to Doom standing in front of, looks like, the United Nations with the logo behind him. And he is wearing the cloak and the Eye of Amagado, but the cloak also has on top of it a flag, an American flag, hanging over his shoulder. To the people of America, Doom grieves with you. The atrocity committed today is a black stain on the legacy of the Pax Victoris. Though Doom seeks nothing but to protect his people, to uplift them, and ensure a lasting forever peace, your poisoned cultures leave behind violent terrorists. The apprehension of the mass murderer James Buchanan Barnes, as well as any who aid and abet him, must be achieved swiftly. Your petty local laws must now not stand in Doom's way. And so while I wished to rule without the iron fist of superhuman force at my back, Barnes has forced my hand. I hereby announce the formation of the Fulgor Victoris, a worldwide anti-terrorism task force dedicated to the destruction of those who would put violence between this world and Doom's peace. They are my Thunderbolts. And then we cut to OXE listening station, Alpha 1. And kicking through the door looks like somebody from the cover, Bob.
Indeed, it does. Yes, it's that Citizen V looking character.
Where is Bucky Barnes? Alert command and control. We have a security breach. Protect the data and get word to the Contessa. She needs to know. Wrong answer. And Citizen V throws the sword into the head of one of the agents and then attacks the other one and knocks him down. Now tell me where he is. You'll need to access the Contessa Valentina's personal network. This is her operation. She built it from the ground up. She's the only one who knows where to find him. Oh, well then, I certainly don't need you. And she snaps his neck. Next page, she takes off her mask, but we don't see it yet. We just see it is a woman with long black hair. Citizen V, to Fulgur Actual. Everything we extracted from that disgusting LMD head, and everything it did to help Barnes' pathetic insurgency, should be considered confirmed. Heh, that new power suit does wonders, huh? Maybe your friend's fixer gets a little thank you? Don't get cocky, Norbert. I know you're used to being surrounded by disorganized ragtag garbage, but you're taking orders from a professional now. I'm not a head in a bag. I am not some ghost story to be told in the gulags. I am the founder of OXE. I am the best damn intelligence agent on the planet, and I am the only person in Doom's security service without a Laverian accent. So put some damn respect on my name. I am the true Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and I am taking back what's mine.
What?
What? She's alive?
So, well, that comes as a shock.
Oh boy.
We were told something very, very different.
We were. That's quite the cliffhanger, Bob. We got an actual U.S. city destroyed by a nuclear bomb. We have Bucky Barnes being enemy number one of everybody, not just Doom. And then we've got the actual Vanessa back. This is intriguing.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see that coming. Right. I mean, we were told in issue 1 of the previous Thunderbolts 4-issue miniseries that she had died 8 years previously in a Russian gulag. And yet here she is, alive and well. And so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. Got a little gypsy look going.
Yeah. Well, maybe she spent some time on the road.
Could be. All right, Bob. Any thoughts on this story?
Well, it's hard to tell from the first issue. Definitely going to have to continue to read this and see how this plays out, right? Bucky seems foolhardy here, right? He seems like he's not thinking clearly. Like he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's a loose cannon here.
You think so?
Yeah. I do. I think he's taking risks. He's writing those checks that he can't cash, sort of thing, right? So, I mean, he says it right up front, right? I mean, he's all his Thunderbolts partners, with the exception of Natasha, are gone, have abandoned him. It's just the two of them, and Alpine, of course, and the
Mm-hmm.
LMD head. So, yeah, so the actions he's taking seem a bit brash and bold, considering the threat of doom at this point.
Well, I don't think we have to wait too long because a couple of those aforementioned characters are at least on the cover of number 2.
Right.
So we see U.S. Agent and Sharon Carter, aka Destroyer, are back to help Bucky.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to buckle down. I think tonight, and maybe read issues. Maybe read the next issue or two.
I want to read the Doom One World Under Doom number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm interested
Yeah,
in seeing that. I want to see how
it's a good point.
how the whole world is dealing with this.
Right. Yeah.
Including Captain America. I'm sure it's in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. What was it? The Avengers are frozen. What was that?
I took that. I didn't think that as literal. I took that
Oh.
as kind of like, figuratively.
Oh. Okay.
Like they're kind of frozen and like what to do,
Okay. Because this
type of
seems
thing.
like a heavy lift.
Yeah.
For Buck. So yeah, there's some explanation would be useful.
Bob, you go first. Do you have a favorite panel?
I do, Rick. It's whoo, where are we here? Hold on. So it is, it's I know we're both looking at a digital copy here. It's page 6. It's that top left panel. Doom and Barnes are having this conversation at
Mm-hmm.
Camp Lehigh, and Doom says to him, "You have won."
Mm.
And it's that panel where Bucky just has this look on his face, and the artist has captured this, and there's a little bit of annoyance, a little bit of exhaustion, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but that face is really conveying something, that he's just tired,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also fed up.
Mm.
And so that panel really speaks to me, because that's I've been feeling that way a lot lately. So I imagine if somebody penciled and inked me, that's how I'd look. So yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you should pick that panel because it's a panel of Bucky, but he's not talking, but there is a word balloon from somebody else talking.
Yeah.
And so the artist, what's his name again? Tommaso Bianchi, seems to do that a lot in this book, and I like that because he's
Yeah.
showing the reaction to
Yeah.
what is being said, not what is being said, and quite frankly, sometimes that's where the story is,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a little bit of. Did you ever seen the movie Birdman?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The whole movie only had one cut.
Really?
Yeah, the whole movie is the one scene. The camera just
Yeah.
moving from room to room to room to room to room, and and so on. I think there's only one cut in the
Huh.
entire movie.
Wow.
That's why I think it was up for Best Picture or maybe one Best Picture. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember, because it was just extraordinarily done as far as cinematography. But of course, the acting was amazing too. I mean, you
Yeah.
in order to do that, you have to have actors that can really hold a scene.
Yeah.
And so Emily Stone, um, there's this one scene where she's telling off her dad, played by Michael Keaton, and she's calling him some vicious names, and you want to see the reaction of Michael Keaton's character, but you don't. Instead, you see Emily Stone's character saying these things, and then she's seeing him,
Yeah.
and then how she's reacting to, like, oh my god, I just really
Yeah.
devastated my dad, and how that really made, like that
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
impactful. And so I don't know, I'm getting
Yeah. Yeah.
on a minor level
No. No.
here in this
Yeah.
book, or here's stuff being said and then the reaction of the people,
Right.
which brings me to my favorite panel.
All right.
So My favorite panel is in the digital copy. It's 19, and it's the last panel, and it's Black
Mm.
Widow,
All right.
and it's a very, very tough moment because she really is thinking that Bucky's sacrificing himself here.
Yeah.
And he says, "Now talk me through this like it's the last thing I'll ever do." And you just see her reaction.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I just thought Tommaso did a really nice job here of capturing that moment. And at the same time, he drew a really nice looking Black Widow.
He really did. And, it almost looks painted, doesn't it?
Mm.
I don't know if this was done digitally or what, but I mean, it looks like a little bit of watercolor here. I mean,
Well, I like the
the
coloring
shading.
of the light coming off the screen on her
Hmm.
the silhouette of her body.
Yeah.
I think that just those accents really stand out.
Yeah. The different angles. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is stunning. Good selection. What about t-shirt worthy? You got anything you want to
Oh
slap
well,
on a
that's
t-shirt?
that's going to be the opening splash,
Ooh.
right? That's
All
that's
right.
going to be a doomed man with doom standing over him, and I don't want to see Bucky. I
Yeah.
I I I, I don't want to
Hmm.
see anything but the character looking down. I don't want the background or anything, but I do want the word balloon saying a doomed man. I think that on a black T-shirt would look pretty stunning.
Yeah. All right. I like that. I like that.
What about
Yeah.
you?
Well, I'm going to do another Doom myself, a double Doom. We're
Hmm.
going to double Doom it. So, but
Okay.
I'm going to the other end of the book. I'm going to page 24, and it's that top panel where Doom is standing in front of the United Nations seal
Mm-hmm.
with the American flag draped over his left shoulder. And he says, "To the people of America, Doom grieves with you."
Mm.
Yeah. I'm putting that one on a shirt.
I can see you putting that on your Facebook profile at the top,
Oh, I like that.
right? I
You
could
may
see you.
see that.
Yeah.
You may
Depending
see
on
that.
what's going on in the world that day,
Might
you
see
might
that in the
say
near
you
future.
might put that up there.
Yeah, it's a keeper, right?
Yeah. All right, Bob. What's going in your time
Woo! Well, I,
capsule?
I think this is a momentous issue for a number of reasons, Rick. But I'm going to go just the fact that the Contessa's alive. I'm going to
Mm.
stick with that. Plain
Okay.
and simple.
If it's the real contestant.
If it's the real, it could be another LMD for sure, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we were told, as I said in issue 1 of the Thunderbolts miniseries, that she had died 8 years previously in a gulag, and yet here
Mm-hmm.
she is. So I don't
Maybe it's a
know.
scroll. Could be a scroll.
Could be another like scroll hanging around for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do hope she's back. Right? She's been around a long, long time, and she's been, a baddie. And I don't mean in the way that my teenage son uses that word baddie. I mean as in a bad, as a villain,
Uh-huh.
but in recent, decade or so.
Uh-huh.
But I like the character, and
Okay.
so I'd like to have her back.
All right.
How about yourself?
I got to go with the destruction of Shelbyville.
Shelbyville.
Right.
Yeah.
That is that genie's out of the bottle. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I remember. Do you remember the spinoff Marvel New Universe?
I do remember it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Starbrand and the
Right.
Pit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Spitfire, troubleshooters, all that.
Yeah.
Um, that made the news when it destroyed Pittsburgh.
Right.
I think it was Pittsburgh.
It's
And
it's big. It's kind of a big deal when you blow up an actual place.
yeah, and Shelbyville, Indiana is a real place, right?
It is a real place. Yeah.
Yeah.
About 20,000 people live in
Yeah.
Shelbyville.
I mean, if I was Marvel,
Yeah.
I would reach out to like the LCS in Shelbyville,
Yeah.
Indiana, and
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, don't take this the wrong way. Uh, but we're gonna let you know right now, you're gonna want to buy extra copies of this for
Right.
because people in your town
Yeah.
are gonna be interested in picking this up."
So true. That's a
I
really
mean,
good point.
I
Yeah.
I, I hope they tip them off.
Yeah. If
You
I
know what I
was
mean?
living in Shelbyville, yeah, I'd want several copies of that,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, yeah. Imagine, even if people with no interest in comics,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you're like, what? Marvel blew up my town? Where is this?
Right. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you're so right about that.
That, my friend, is a former LCS man thinking.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how I would handle that.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, Bob. This little segment we like to do, we like to end with questions, and we put it out there. So if you have a question that you want to send to Bob or me, it could be about Captain America, it could be about comics, it could be about the MCU, it could be about what we had for breakfast. It doesn't matter. You send your email into capcomicfans at gmail.com. Or you can send it to us via any of our other listening. So, like for example, if you go on YouTube, you can leave a comment there and leave a question, or on Facebook in a group, or you can go to our website, CaptainAmericaComicBookFans.com, sign up. Put your email address in there, and you every time we have a new episode come out, it'll be shoot you an email with a link, and then you can leave messages there too. There's so many different ways to get us. Easiest, fastest way, though, is going to be that email address. But we have a question, Bob.
Oh,
It is from Grant Ball,
okay.
one of our patrons of the show. And he writes, my wife and I have recently updated our wills. And then he puts in parentheses, nothing's wrong, just general
Uh-huh.
prepping in case something bad happens.
Uh-huh.
And it got me thinking about what to do with my cap collection,
Mm.
as my immediate friends and family aren't interested in it. So, do y'all have a specific plan for your collections when you pass, or is that being left for people to figure out? Now, thank you, Grant, for your question. We appreciate that. Uh, it kind of feels like maybe this was a little bit of a, hey guys, what are you doing with your stuff? You know, in
Yeah.
case anything happens to you, do you have any? Hmm?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Grant.
What about you? What about you? Do you have something stated about your
I do.
collection?
I do actually, because we recently did our estate planning, and so there's a separate document where you can list your like your personal effects and redirect them. And so I did that, and so they initially go to my son, but if he chooses not to keep them, then I've requested, and of course, yeah, it may not hold up in court, but I've requested that they be distributed to his children. But if they don't want them, then they could sell. And I do provide, what I have a spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
Excel, that lists, and this is secret. Nobody gets this until I die. What I paid for everything. So they know at least like what I paid for it, right? So if they do want to sell it someday.
It's funny is my wife loves this meme I showed her, and it was one of my greatest fears in life is when I die, my wife will sell my collection for what I told her I spent on
Right. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what
That's
about
funny.
you, though? I mean, I know you've had these conversations with
Yeah.
your
Well,
son and
see, so
daughter.
for me, I have a pretty large comic collection, uh, and I have a pretty large original art collection.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is to sell most of it before I die.
Mm.
As we get closer to retirement and things like that.
Right.
Um, but they say if you want to make God smile, tell him your plans.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you never know what tomorrow brings. So that's
Yeah.
why we have wills. Um, I will say this. Um, Years ago, uh, I had always tried to get my kids into comics,
Yeah.
and they read them for a time, and I had gotten some really cool signed comics. And I remember one time at my store, I had a GI Joe artist in the store, and he signed a GI Joe comic, and he signed it to Hayden Yo
Uh-huh.
Joe,
Yeah.
and signed his name, and that I gave him that, and then the Bone comic. Do you know Bone?
I don't. No.
Oh, Jeff Smith. it's a cartoon type of cartoonish type of
Mm,
art, but it's an independent. It'd been around for many years, and they had these huge volume collections, and so like the whole collection is like this big. Oh, there we
yeah.
go. And I had the first one done, signed by him, and he did a little, you know, caricature in there and everything. And I gave those to my son. And one day, uh, I told him he had to clean out his room, get rid of the toys and stuff he no longer plays with and
Yeah.
everything. And he got a box, and I was like, yeah, we'll donate stuff. And he took toys, and he put it in his box and everything,
Yeah.
and he put it outside his door in the hallway because,
Yeah.
you know, I guess the box fairy's going to come by and collect it or something. But anyway, and in there were the comics that I got him that were signed to
Oh
him.
no. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Just don't they? Yeah, they just don't have the G2. They don't appreciate that stuff yet at a certain
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. Now, listen, my kids love comic book characters. Like they
Yeah.
love the TV shows and the movies. We watch
Hmm.
those together and all that. But comics themselves,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. My son's not a big reader, so even comics. So but maybe someday. And like I said, if like it skips it, maybe it'll skip a generation, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that, right? I even went out. I think I told you this. I went. I got a bunch of. Obviously, I'm a Cap person, but I do have a soft spot for Captain Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have all the Captain Carter comics and appearances and variants and all that. I got the Funkos, I got the statues, because maybe he'll have a daughter who's like in the Captain Carter, right? Wants
Mm-hmm.
a female version of Captain America. So I have those just in case. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I won't be here to have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's right. Um, so Grant, getting back to your question, it sounds like you and your wife are trying to figure this out. I got the impression maybe there's no kids in the picture, as you mentioned, friends and family. Um, so one thing that I have done back when I had my store, I had a bunch of people. I mean, I probably had three, four, five people a week come into the store trying to sell comics to me, and many people bringing in collections. Sometimes people have passed, and some people have brought in. It's like um, and I couldn't deal with all that, right? So my suggestion was take them to like a children's hospital
Mm-hmm.
and let other people enjoy them, you know, and use that as a tax write off or or whatever the case may be. So that's an idea, that's a thought. You can donate them to the library,
It's a good point. Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
find a cause that
Yeah.
you feel you believe in, and maybe put that in your will.
Yeah.
To donate it to a charity of your choice.
It's a good idea. That's it checks a lot of boxes, right? You're going to some place that people are going to appreciate them, but you're doing a good thing too. So for folks who may not otherwise have access to them.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love it.
Great question. Thanks for sending that in, Grant. We appreciate it. And if you have a question for Bob or I, please do send it to capcomicfans@gmail.com. And Bob, I am so excited for next episode when we have Jackson and Collin back on the show. I can't wait.
Yep, that's going to be fun. Always fun to have those guys on the show, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of laughs.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you're on YouTube right now, give us a thumbs up. And as always, we thank you for listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.